Mayor will pull with us. Everyone to be quiet. Please stand for a silent prayer, moment of reflection. We'll now salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As to provide the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 PL 1975, adequate notice of the meeting has been provided in the following manner. The annual notice is forwarded to the Asbury Park Press, the Coaster, and the Star Ledger on January 3rd, 2023, and posted on the bulletin board the same date. All notices are on file with the city clerk. At this time, the mayor would like to make a statement regarding the Asbury Park Fishing Club and Julie Block.
Past Sunday was the 30th annual Asbury Park Fishing Club. It used to be called a flea market. Now it's the best show on the East Coast as far as lures and everything. And some of these lures go for hundreds of dollars each. People line up at 5 o'clock in the morning to buy. There's great entertainment. Joey Colada with the Asbury Park Fishing Club have always been. He has it on a Sunday and Wednesday. Tuesday, he dropped off checks at my house. He said, "John, keep these checks out." So he believes in a quick turnaround, give people money. So we need Debbie DeLis up here. We need somebody from Little League. Will. We need Alicia from Recreation.
Big Brothers Big
Big Brothers, Boys Club.
Asbury Park Boys Club, Fulfill, Clean Ocean Action. No, don't do those.
So Amy's going to read Joe's letter. I'm going to hand out the checks.
This past weekend, the Asbury Park Fishing Club held its 30th annual fishing show in the historic Berkeley Oceanfront Hotel, drawing 1,000 visitors to the beachfront, with many attendees continuing their Asbury experience with visits to local businesses throughout the city throughout the day. Many thanks to the Asbury Park Fishing Club members who volunteered many long hours, and to our vendors who attracted a great audience to this annual fundraiser. Their efforts enable us to make contributions to many local area nonprofits, including those in our great city. It is an honor to present to the City Council the following donations. $2,000 to the Asbury Park Little League, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Monmouth County, Asbury Park Boys and Girls Club, Fulfill, City of Asbury Park Recreation, Asbury Park Boardwalk Rescue, Clean Ocean Action, Children's Trout Contest, it shows how much I fish, American Littoral Society, and the Deal Lake Carp Contest. April 15th. So we want to thank Joey Pilato for doing this every year. He does an amazing job and does the turnaround quicker than probably any other person in town.
Doug, you want to say something? I'm sure Joe's watching on TV.
Yeah, just very, very grateful for Joe's continued commitment to Boys and Girls Club and the kids that we get to serve. And obviously this money goes a long way to helping us improve our impact in their lives. So thank you.
Well, Little League.
On behalf of the Asbury Park Little League Baseball, I'd like to say thank you so very much. The money really comes in handy. We're trying to get the field redone. Matter of fact, I'm reading the contract there tomorrow. We're getting a new batting, school board. It's just what, $5,000 worth of uniforms. So this really comes in handy. Thank you very much.
Debbie with Asbury Park Boardwalk Rescue.
Thank you, Joe. Love you so much. Every year you are so compassionate. Even though you have some physical problems, you never let that stop you. You always think about everybody else first. Thank you, Joe, and thank you for the fishing club.
How many years have you known Joe? Too many.
52? Wow.
Big Brothers.
Thank you, Joe. We couldn't do the work that we do without your support. This contribution will make a great impact to provide mentoring services for kids in the community. So thank you.
And Alicia from Recreation is going to accept one from Recreation and one that we're going to send to Fulfill, where the fishing club realizes how much Fulfill helped Asbury Park this year to feed our elderly and residents and everything. So Fulfill was chosen this year. And if everybody wants to get a check next year, you better send it back to you. Joey,
Thank you, Joe.
Don't get a note. Don't get a check. That's it?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Picture.
I made you smile.
And if everybody knows Joey Bob, he has several years of this stuff, this screen. But he said to me, it's supposed to be a straight bass. What the hell is it, a goldfish? He wasn't happy with the fish. Thank you, thank you, Joey. Thank you, Asbury Fishing Club. Next.
Thank you. We're now on to special events applications.
The first application before you is for the Lake House, for their block party on May 20th. Next is the Pesci Contours. The Asbury Park Historical Society Annual Art Show. Simon's Arts, on second week of the summer. Edelab wants to do a beach sweep. And Ocean Township Intermediate School wants to do a beach cleanup as well. And the New Jersey Haiti Partners Association requesting we use the senior center for their event on May 20th. Are there any questions on these applications?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have a presentation concerning the residential and commercial redevelopment at 1201 Memorial Drive, Block 203, Lot 5, by General Braverman Building LLC. That's the mistake. Plug in the HDMI. Oh, there we go. Thank you.
Okay, so folks, my name is Beth McManus. I'm a planning consultant for the city of Asbury Park, and I'm just going to introduce this project before we turn it over to my name is Beth McManus. I'm a planning consultant for the city of Asbury Park, and I'm just going to open things up before we turn things over to the developer. As we heard from just a brief introduction as part of the agenda, this evening we have a presentation by the developers for a site referred to as 1201 Memorial. It's off to a 3-lot 5, but more specifically, it's that vacant piece of property along Memorial between 4th and 5th Avenues. And what we're going to hear this evening from the developer is about a development proposal for construction of about 126 housing units, including some additional features that I'll allow the developer to go through. But the one thing that I wanted to also introduce to the public is the fact that this is really not the first time that the city has thought about this project, and for those of you in the audience, it may not be the first time that you've heard about a development proposal for this site. This is a property that's been in discussion for a couple of years now, so much as going to the planning board in 2022 for review, when they got some substantial comments, and they've made some changes, and that's exactly what we're here to learn about this evening. And so with that, without further ado, I'm going to turn things over to
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, Council, members of the public. My name is Steve Cohen. I'm attorney with the law firm here at Howard and Seesaw. I represent Douglas Development Corporation. Douglas, through the subsidiary, is the owner of this property. They've owned it for 5 years or so, 5 or 6 years. So I have with me tonight Paul Milston, who is Vice President and partner in Douglas Development, and he is in charge of this redevelopment project. Dan Zanetto is our architect from Lowe, and Jim Kennedy is our project engineer. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Paul talk a little bit about the overview of the project that we're proposing, talk a little bit about how we got to this version of the project that we did today from the start until we came up with this design where we're at. And then I have Dan and Jim here, obviously, to answer any specific architectural engineering questions that we have. So I'll turn it over to Paul.
So thank you all for coming and giving us the opportunity. I'm just going to swing over here to the ease, and I apologize for my back there. So we'll move off this for a minute and kind of talk about how we got here. And I'll go pretty quickly, but then available to answer any and all questions. We started here in 2020, was our initial submission with planning and some staff. And when we put this up, this was a 5-story building. It's probably a little bit challenging for you to see, but and then this started the dialogue of some concerns. There was concerns about the architectural styling, the colors, the material, the height, the mass, the uses, etc. The typical concerns that we would hear. So we were challenged to do several things. We took that feedback and came back in 2021 with another revision. And again, we're challenged again to do some additional things and change some things. But the long and short of it is we worked our way all the way through down to January of 23. And then with that, we landed here. And I think what I'd like to do is point out the key areas that we were pushed to make change. One was the height. It really, we were encouraged to pull down to a 4-story building as opposed to a 5. We were also, this original building came out to the property line, which is basically the normal curb width. Through the years, we were really encouraged to push the building, both sides, 4th and 5th Street, in, so the building didn't project past the porch lines of the existing homes that go down 4th and 5th Street, so that the sight lines would be maintained from 4th and 5th all the way up. So we shrunk it, which resulted in obviously a narrower building, but also these magnificent 50-foot, approximately 50-foot open public sidewalks before you get to the buildings. That actually enabled us to do something we've done successfully in Washington, where we took that space and we created bioretention swales. So stormwater management and potential overflows from the streets could filter naturally through the bioretentions and back into the ground, but it gives it grass and boulders and this very natural environment that presents a nice soft landing to the building. It's just not a big building face on the property line rising up. So it created that, and it also respected the sight lines from 4th and 5th Street looking past the building. So and that's reflected here. You'll see both these are close to 50 feet. And again, these serve a function. They're green. You can walk through them and things like that. We actually may try to do some like bouldering inside them, which could be fun. We're looking into that. But nevertheless, they do filter the water naturally. They're bioretention swales, so it takes some of the charge off the sewer systems in the city, and it helps. There was a problem with some overflow currently in 5th Street, and we'll actually have cuts in our curves so that way it could flow into our bioretentions because we created excess capacity. And we heard, these are things that we heard over the last couple of years of things that could help the project fit into the community better. Along with that, originally we had ingress and egress both on 4th Street and 5th Street. That was an issue. We then were challenged by our transportation consultants to try not to do that, because every time you're obviously having cars go back and forth across sidewalks, there's an opportunity for an accident. And those are scary because those are pedestrian sidewalks. And so you don't want to, if you can do it at one spot as opposed to two, it's a safer building, it's safer for the community, less risk of accidents. So we said, okay, well, where would it make sense? We were pushed to do it on 4th Street because that is the street that flows through to the next town. It's a through street as opposed to a local street. There's more technical term for that, but I don't know what it is. But it was it was a higher rated street. So we moved it over to here, and that's what we have. We were also really encouraged to do some form of retail component, so that it has some form of activity. So with retail comes parking concerns. Retail brings other concerns to the residential, but we were able to work in some retail to activate the Memorial Drive. So what we did is we took the two corners and we did this one in 4th Street corner, they're very similar. There's some small, it's a cafe, it's ice cream, it's a coffee shop, it's a taco bar, it's something. But then we created these really nice outdoor environments because again, with that 50-foot setback, we created little table and eating areas along with our bioretentions. So it's not a lot of retail, but it does activate the street. It will provide some activity. And also, it's a service to the building that people that live in the building, so it's a convenience. So we plotted 2 of those. The other concern is the balance of the first floor is parking, which right now we're at 129 parking spaces. We're at 126 units, which we've been building several of those over the last couple of years. We're finding a 1-to-1 ratio is the right mix for us. people are owning vehicles differently these days. And people will argue about that, it's not enough, and somebody will have two. Somebody will have two, somebody will have none, somebody may have more. But that's where we've seen a very good balance at the 1-to-1. Plus, our retail may drive a little additional parking. Everybody won't be parked all the time every day. There'll always be some open opportunity for small retail. This is not, you're not driving 30 minutes to this coffee shop, and this is really spectacular. This is not intended to be destination retail. This is neighborhood serving, building serving, walkable. That's the intent. In addition to that, but as I was going, the balance of the ground floor is garage, but that's not very attractive. So we wrapped it in a brick skin to make it not look like a garage, but we also gave us a great opportunity for public art, which we've also done in several projects. So we'll rotate this art and we'll work with the community, the art group, and that has to be further developed, and we've got to go through a planning process. There's a lot more work to do. But the intent here is that we have these rotating arts that just gives more of a lively experience as you drive down Memorial Avenue. So some basics, 126 units, 20% affordability, and when I say affordable, that is very low to moderate. It's about 26 units of affordable housing. The balance will be at market rate. 129 parking spaces. There is an occupiable space on top of here, but we set in so that it wasn't readable from the streets unless you go really far back. So again, you're not reading a very tall wall from the streets. You give it a little bit of setbacks. We added balconies as a result of our meetings. We initially had no balconies. You can see from earlier renderings. The reasoning for that, we were told, was that it makes it feel more as a residential building by adding balconies. And then we were asked to add them on 4th Street and 5th Street. So again, to just get more of a residential feel, so we said sure. So that's why you see the evolution of balconies. We were different to that, but it was a desire that we heard. And that's kind of where we are right now. We've done traffic studies and we've done other things, and we can talk about that, but I think that's the basic overview of the project.
Yeah, I think we can open for questions.
Yeah.
There's a question you're open from the council, and then the public session for people who want to say, public could ask questions.
Sure.
Anybody, council, have questions?
So your affordable housing, what size are those units?
So they're a mix. We have 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms. There's a chart. We can take you through those. So I give you exactly what you're.
That's what I needed to know.
Yes, ma'am. So the charts, here we have,
The total project, there are 5 affordable 1-bedrooms, 15 affordable 2-bedrooms, and 6 affordable 3-bedrooms. And those will all meet the minimum standards from the state. And that varies.
What's the square footage of the 3 bedrooms?
The minimum for the 3-bedroom affordable units is 1,150 square feet.
So my question is, I'm not really good with square footages, so I'm going to ask you this. For a 2-bedroom unit, how many children would you be able to have in the 2-bedroom if they had bunk beds?
well, I would assume you could have 1 bedroom would have bunk beds for 2 children, and 1 bedroom would be
For the parent, right?
That's what I would assume.
But it would be large enough to have a bunk bed, dresser, TV, chair,
Yes,
space to play.
the square footage on 2 bedroom. I think they're about 850 or something. Yes, there's 850, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
The affordable meet the COA requirements for what the state requires for affordable.
100%. Spread about the building with the same windows and floor elevations as the other units. You won't be able to tell they're affordable units.
And you said the traffic study was done?
Yes, sir.
When? What year?
I didn't have, I wasn't.
Okay.
That's right, but,
No,
that'll move. I know we have to go through planning and all that detail, and we'll provide all that. Yes, sir.
Thank
And Paul, most of these iterations were a result of both the planning board's feedback and then it's my understanding that you certainly met with several of the residents, including certainly one who lives right next to the building.
Yeah, the immediate neighbor was very vocal and very active, understandably so, he's the immediate home. So we had multiple meetings, and I had meetings with others that said they would just assume not share their names, but they were interested, so I try to make myself available, but it's challenging to make yourself available to everybody, and I don't live here, I live in Maryland, and I come in, but I've been here a lot. So, but we've had a lot of neighborhood meetings, council meetings, and yes, we have. That's how you see all the changes, they're all ideas that resulted in that process.
No. What we do is we let them present, we ask the questions, and then I'm sure they'll stay for the public comment, you can ask the questions, and then they can respond. So, yeah, we just can't, we would be here all night. And again, this is just the presentation for this to move forward, there'll be another meeting where other questions will be heard. So if anybody could make it tonight, there'll be another opportunity to ask questions.
And if it goes forward to the planning board, at the planning board, you're able to ask questions, as many questions as you like, and make all types of public comments, whatever your opinion might be.
And I would just piggyback on that comment. There's actually going to be several more chances for public participation because at this stage, as right now, this project needs a redevelopment plan to be adopted. So the first step would obviously be a redevelopment plan would have to be adopted, which acts as zoning for this site. That's a public participation process. That's going to go to the council for an ordinance adoption. There would be a public hearing. Once the redevelopment plan is adopted, then we would make an application to the planning board. Again, everyone would have a chance to comment on the plan at the planning board level. So there'd be at least 2 opportunities for public comment before this project.
Other questions? Okay, so this is going to be a short statement. When I first met Mr. Jamal, at Google, he's built some fantastic projects with Baltimore, Mass, every place, and he usually tries to keep the existing building, which I know you tried to do that here, it just didn't work out, so that's why they had to knock it down the building. So, great thing, this is just Moore's personal opinion. When I hear Braverman building, it reminds me of the 1980s and the county health department using it as a methadone clinic. So anybody that lives in Asbury Park knows what's there, Fisher's Bread Company. So if you look for a historical name, think about changes of Fisher's Bread, I'll give you a little bread. They had 2 outlets, North and Asbury Park. That is, guys, when I was a kid, they gave glass tours through the building. Behind the glass, you saw bacon and everything. Yeah. The neighborhood, for the neighbors you talk to, said you love driving up that Memorial Drive because it smells like bread and everything. So again, that was still active into the 60s, I believe, bakery and everything. Then I would think finally went bankrupt and turned into like a methadone center. So I think Fisher's better than Braver. That's your building. You name anything you want.
I appreciate the history, and we didn't know that. And I can tell you that we will file tomorrow to change the name of Fisher's. I will take that loaf of bread if you don't. We actually did the Wonder Bread baking factory in Washington D.C. at Howard University.
This is courtesy of Fred Bates Sr.
I love it.
Retired fireman. He bought the Wrap Beautiful years ago, and he put the styrofoam in it. This is great history. And I got that very long time ago, so he gave it to me. And there's a beautiful postmark. It's pretty rare of bakery. And I have it someplace at home.
Well, the sign is the same way, the same font. We did Wonder Bread baking in Washington D.C. The old Continental Baking Twinkies, and we named it Wonder Bread, and we kept it true to its form. It's at Howard University right now, and we love that stuff. So thank you.
Thank you. So again, I have no more questions. It seems the council has no more questions. We're going to move on to a little bit of council business first, and then move on to the public. So some public may have questions specifically for you, so I would just suggest it's to your benefit to stick around.
Sure.
Comments, questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. We're now on to matters from City Council. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes, I have 2 small announcements. The City of Asbury Park Easter egg hunt Saturday, April 4th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's going to be in Sunset Park. And then 14 years and older, vote for projects to improve Asbury Park. And you can vote between now and the 31st. There is a flyer probably on the table over there And these are projects to improve spaces in our community through the city's first annual participatory budget program. And thank you, so make sure you vote.
Thank you. Councilmember Chapman.
I just want to just piggyback on Angela. The Easter egg hunt is April 1st. So I just want to make sure that was clear. I also want to make note that the Deal Lake and Sunset Lake cleanups that were originally scheduled for Saturday have been rescheduled to Sunday due to weather. And I want to thank everyone who submitted ideas for participatory budget and those who turned out to see the presentations. The presentations were very well thought through and enthusiastically received. It was a fabulous night with a lot of community engagement and support. I hope that the intent and spirit of this initiative continues throughout the remainder of the process as members of our community advocate and campaign for their projects. So I hope everyone supports it and is kind to each other in this process.
Thank you. Councilmember Clayton. Nothing. Thank you. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Mayor Moore. Thank you. Matters from the city manager. Thank you. Matters from the city attorney.
That's nothing at this time.
Thank you. We're now on to public participation. May I have a motion may have a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Move to open.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Public participation portion of the meeting is now open. Any member of the public who wishes to speak, please use the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and there will be a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. Again, your name and address.
So right back to like.
Hi, my name is Bruce Valber, and I'm your new neighbor, Mr. Fisher Bakery.
Oh.
There you go. We're across the street from you on Ford, the old hot building. So, first off, nothing I say here should be construed to be in any way against the idea. I think it's wonderful. I've worked on these projects all over the country. I'm familiar. My concern is twofold. First off, 129 parking spaces for 126 units. People parking on Fourth Avenue, it needs to be looked at, especially in the summertime. My guys get there at 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're going to line the street. So that's kind of a concern. Other than that, everything else I saw in that presentation looks lovely. It only be good for the Royal Corporate. And by the way, Mayor, it was Railroad Avenue.
Absolutely.
When Fisher was there. And unfortunately, I'm old enough to remember that. So, those are the only two things I have to say. I want to introduce myself. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Sylvia, the Executive Director of the Asbury Park Chamber of Commerce. We love the full room. Just a couple of quick things about what's going on with some of our upcoming events. We have our restaurant tour on April 23rd, and last year we kind of transitioned it, we're not a traditional chamber. We transitioned it into something that could be a fundraising mechanism for some nonprofits, and we supported World Central Kitchen, Chefs for Ukraine. We thought that kind of married nicely with the restaurant tour. And then this year, I had that, think global, act local, and I thought that it might be a good idea to do a act local and act global. So we're going to continue to support Chefs for Ukraine, but also Mercy Center right here. And I'm embarrassed to say that I had no idea the number of people that they serve in their food pantry. There are 6,000 a month, which is up from, I think it was about, the director there, she said it was about 300 a month when she first got here. And now it's 6,000 a month, so we're going to be very eager to be able to support them as well. Our new county tourism director is really just going full force for Asbury. She has gotten, PBS is going to come here and do some filming, including us in a series that they do. And the NJEDA is doing a commercial that is supposed to encourage businesses to open up in New Jersey. And it picked 3 businesses in the whole state to include in the 30-second commercial. And one of them is right downtown. It's Confections of a Rockstar. And they're going to be filming that next week. So congratulations to all of you for running a community that everybody wants to be in so badly. It is a real honor to be here, and where's that? Welcome. I have a card for you if there's anything that we can do to help you. Once everything goes through, please reach out. That's it.
Jerry Turner, also the executive director of the Asbury Arts Council, and I just want to thank you in advance for considering resolution 176 tonight, advancing the draft horticulture plan to the planning board. And Ms. Rita is right here. I wanted to address something. Those of you who weren't here last meeting, there was a presentation of some of the draft recommendations. I want to invite everybody to another public presentation next Thursday at the Park Public Library at 6 p.m. of this plan. And again, it's in its draft form. That meeting will have opportunity for public input. But Ms. Rita right here wrote something in the poster that I think may be on people's minds, and she said, what's with all the art stuff when the city has such pressing concerns? And I think that she may not be unique in sometimes thinking about that. Arts are seen as a luxury and not a necessity. And I just wanted to use, I got 2 minutes. Some people smarter than me in Americans for the Arts, which is a nationwide arts advocacy organization, has the top 10 reasons to support the arts. And I'm going to use my time to read them to you. And I'll be happy to read this with anybody who questions why we do this. And this is not to be confrontational. This is actually just to help people see our perspective. And we actually think the arts can be part of solving some of the pressing issues. So I would see it that there is opportunity for all of us to do that. But the top 10 reasons. Arts are fundamental to our humanity. They ennoble and inspire us, fostering creativity, empathy, and beauty. They also strengthen our community socially, educationally, and economically. Benefits that persist even during a pandemic that has been devastating to the arts. The following 10 reasons show why an investment in artists, creative workers, and arts organizations is vital to the nation's post-pandemic healing and recovery. Number 1, arts unify communities. Number 2, arts improve individual well-being. Number 3, arts strengthen the economy. Number 4, arts drive tourism and revenue to local businesses. Number 5, arts improve academic performances. Number 6, arts spark creativity and innovation. Number 7, arts have social impact. Number 8, arts improve healthcare. Number 9, arts for the health and well-being of our military. And number 10, finally, arts strengthen mental health. Again, I didn't make these up. There's a lot of research to support it. I would invite anybody to go check out Americans for the Arts. It's why we feel passionately, but again, it's not arts above all, it's arts with everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Janine Olmstead. I'm at 1531 Banks Avenue, here in Asbury Park. I have, I'm not sure which board I should address in regards to this, but I am a caseworker in the field of mental health. And I would say the past 6 months, I've had approximately 5 clients that I've had to try and find new housing for. And as we know, there's a lot of mental health individuals who live within the city. And a lot of them being pushed out. Even out of properties, I believe P&J Management, who owns 1215 through 1217, where a lot of those individuals who receive a voucher, it was affordable for them to live there. At this point, we are, as an agency, and I'm sure there's other agencies who are finding it very difficult. And if it's going to be a situation where the city, property owners and other people who know that these things are going to happen and people are going to be pushed out, it'd be great to just have that communication so that we can find housing. And Monmouth, Ocean, Middlesex, I spent 6 months to the point where I had to find a way for their current landlords to keep them. And that wasn't an easy feat. So we had to make adjustments and do extra things just for these people to have housing. So my question is, for those who are on vouchers and have mental health issues and addiction issues, and they live in like boarding homes and places like 1215 through 1217, where do they go? Or is that not a problem for the city?
Are you done?
Yes, thank you, sorry.
I'm gonna let Donna answer this because I don't want to give you the wrong.
Well, I'm gonna say a couple things, just because we've worked together in the past with people. No question about rents going up tremendously. Some of the things the city's done is passed a rent control ordinance. We greatly restricted short-term rentals, and all incoming projects, including the one you just heard, is gonna have affordable. So this isn't just Asbury, as we both know, this is all of Monmouth County. It's atrocious. And I'm with you completely that, you know, the rents in Asbury are obscene, no question, and surrounding towns. What I will say is the vouchers are ridiculously low on what they will pay. So it's very difficult to ask a landlord to take $800. Ocean Grove's fair market went down. But if we've done rent control, we've done short-term rental. If you have ways that we can ensure, we do 20% set-asides for new housing, we are all ears to ensure that we can try to keep as many residents in Asbury Park as we can in a legal way.
Thank you.
Amy summed it up perfectly.
Amy summed it up perfectly.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Catherine Minervini, also known as Katie. 1012 Fifth Avenue, I'm not in the vicinity of the project, and I think you reached out to me as well, so thank you for that. I think I would parlay off of that comment about housing. I think that there is a lack of creativity when it comes to housing in general. It's a problem across the whole country. I think the city of Denver just announced that they're allowing ADUs, which are additional dwelling units. And that's a way to allow gentle density throughout the entire city, and that would help all of us, and it would also help property owners, it would help those looking for rentals, it would drive the rental market down a little bit so that it becomes more affordable all around. In addition, we don't then rely on all the developers, no offense, but it gives all of us some of the responsibility to help out. And as property taxes go up, it also helps offset the property tax for property owners. So there's a lot of benefits to ADUs. My other comment would be about parking, and I think that it does need to be, I'm sure you did very extensive testing or analyzing about that, but I do think that we are going to have people circling. The people, we have a friend who lives on Langford, he's really nervous about that. There's no parking around there. So I'm fortunate, I do have 2 parking spots off of Fish's Lane, but that isn't the case for everybody else. And I think that really needs to be taken into consideration. I don't understand why. I think the original project was 180 units, and I don't understand why when the city of Asbury Park says you have to make some of them affordable, you add on instead of taking away from the 108. Why would there 20 more added on? So I have a little bit of an issue with that. I think, again, that's just a little bit of greed and lack of creativity. So again, don't take offense to that. I think that these are just some of the things that I'm seeing. And that's about, those are my things. Thanks.
So Kitty, just so you know, the last council meeting in April, we're gonna have a presentation on ADUs. And looking for feedback on how we can increase ADUs in the city. So, everybody come out for that presentation at the end of April. We're gonna take feedback. You correct anything I say that's wrong, Donna.
And we're gonna be posting a draft ordinance on our website in the next couple of days, probably after next Monday, that everyone can look at. It's by no means the final version, it's a version that the city council's been working on. We went over it again tonight in executive session, we'll share it with the community, and as the deputy mayor said, we'll have a public meeting on it on April 22nd, or 26th.
I'm Jill, I'm Kitty's neighbor. We have a driveway. My name is Jill Salmino, I live on the fifth. I don't recall on the diagrams, was there diagonal parking in front of the unit?
Memorial Drive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it seems like, I think what we're all worried about and concerned is the parking. If you did the same thing that, I don't know much about this, but the same thing that they did like in front of the debt and the local fish, local 130.
Sunset Plaza.
Sunset Plaza. If you push the building back a little, I know you lose units, I'm not sure how many, but wouldn't you gain like 50 spots or 40 spots? And then that might alleviate some of the problem.
Okay, thank you.
My name is Lou Solmi. I live on 4th Avenue, 1321 4th Avenue. I just wanted to ask a question about the property. What's the setback from Memorial? Kind of the same tie into the parking.
Do you want to like ask all your questions and then have them answer, just so you don't get cut off in 3 minutes?
Well, the follow-up question, the second question you can answer them
Okay.
is there any noise, any consideration for the noise that's right on the railway there?
Yep.
So I'll speak to the noise first, because that's the easy one as well. So what we do is, we have experience where we built some buildings across the street from the fire station at 6th and 9th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. And I hate to keep representing Washington, but it's 35 years of doing this. So we use the triple pane window, and we are directly across the street, and when the sirens go on, you wouldn't be hitting, there was no impact from noise. So we intended to use the same window system here. We'll insulate the walls properly as well, but the glass is usually where the problems come. And we'll use a 3-pane window that really does a great job mitigating the noise. We had success with it previously. As far as the setbacks from Memorial, I don't know that exact. I mean, we're at the property line, and there's the sidewalk requirements. And Dan's going to bring it up now and kind of plug it in. There's no, I'm not aware of any additional setbacks. Very different than 4th and 5th Street, where we had huge setbacks more than typical. Memorial is pretty much on the property line, I believe, but we'll verify that.
Okay, we can go on to another question. You pull that up, we'll get you the answer. Okay.
We'll get that answer on the
Yeah,
side.
we'll let the chief and then we'll get back to make sure we pull it up. Yeah, we'll have the answer. Go ahead, Reed.
Hi, Greg Moran, Fifth Avenue. Thanks for the compliment. You would have been the 101 person that called me. Anyway, affordable housing, there's no such thing. There's an apartment on Deepwood Avenue, one of the worst streets to live on, for $2,300. You think that's affordable? That's all I want to say about that. I want to talk about 1201 Springwood Avenue. That people should be attending those meetings because they're the ones that are not making affordable housing. You have 2-family houses there now, chasing the people that live there out. And it's just not right. 1201, they aren't paying hardly any taxes for that building. It's one block. They're paying about $6,000 and I'm paying about 13. People should follow the money in this town and you would see it's not going for affordable or low income housing. None of that is true. Everybody says affordable. Well, what is affordable? You have to get after the developers that are coming to this town to build. They built 2-family houses on Springwood. And then the Turf Lounge, they're gonna rebuild that. You think the people that live there are gonna be still there? I don't think so. I've seen this happen in New York and other places where I used to live. This is what happens to a semi-urban town. This is urban because we have a lot of different kinds of people living here. And about the parks, go look at Sunset Avenue and tell me that slab of cement is awkward. It says the walls don't, only the walls could talk here. I don't think there's walls in the park. I mean, we're not that dumb to think that something like that is pretty. I like art and I love art, but I like the good art. I don't like scribble. And I mean, 1201, you have to get into the intimate neighbors. And I want to know where our kitchen is in that little cafe. That was an educational experiment, but now it's a real business. What happens here? Things like this shouldn't be happening. You have to follow up on what you put into law. None of the ordinances for the park are being broken. We're supposed to have flowers and trees in the park and fix the fountains that aren't working. That's what you're supposed to be doing. But you're not.
Okay, Rita, your time's up.
Okay, you gonna follow up on 1201?
We'll get those, so everybody in the audience knows 1201 was, I'm not gonna say 2008, when none of us were on the council, none of us even think about running for council, so it's a deal that was cut by a previous administration that again, it's a legal binding deal. I mean, we can't unilaterally change it, it's against the law.
All deals could be broken.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wendy Glassman, 703 Sunset Avenue. I think this is probably the right time to raise the subjects that I want to raise. First, thank you to Councilwoman Chapman for bringing the idea of the participatory budget program to the city. Thank you to the council for supporting it and the city staff who helped bring forward this experiment. As I had said at the meeting last week, the visual impact of the images are worth 1,000 words. And I really encourage everyone to go back, look at the presentation that's been recorded, and you'll see all of the ideas that have been presented. And I think that it will change some of your preconceived ideas about what the projects really are based on a couple of words that are on the balance sheet. And since a lot of people were here at that meeting, I just want to take a minute to talk about the project that I presented on behalf of the Sunset Lake Commission. And that is for the Art Bench project, which is 7A on your ballot, which proposes funding up to 5 site-specific art benches created by professional artists that are both practical, beautiful, and unique. First for Sunset Lake Park, our largest park, as the start of an art bench project throughout the city. This project will be coordinated through the Public Art Commission and the Asbury Park Arts Council. We believe that the project represents a great opportunity to bring together goals the city and residents have deemed important. Accessible and idyllic public spaces, accessible public art, opportunities to engage in stimulating activities outdoor that can foster engagement that spans generations. We understand the impact of quiet, open green space on the health and well-being of residents in otherwise crowded urban cities. We also believe that public art in our parks is an essential element of our city. Art has the power to transform ordinary and forgotten spaces into vibrant cultural hubs We connect communities through a shared appreciation and wonder of art. Art lets us absorb the beauty of our natural surroundings in a new way. The benches will be functional seating, but also pieces of art that are meant to be touched, explored, and even played on. The addition of the public art benches will enhance the quiet beauty of Sunset Lake Park by giving our community functional art and design that we interact and linger with. We recognize that free access to public art is an essential part of what makes our city great. We hope that this project is the first of many public art projects in our beautiful parks and open spaces throughout the city. We ask our residents to vote for public art, for creative placemaking, and for beauty in nature. Again, I encourage everyone, please look at the presentations. They don't take that long to go through. And again, we hope that you support the public art program.
Thank you. And you got the, what Joan asked? Yes. And
So the building on Memorial Drive is about 1.5 feet from the property line, and that is about 25 feet more or less from the curb. So that's a wide curb along Memorial Drive.
do you have a follow-up question to that?
No.
In fact, you're good? Yep. Okay, thank you. Anybody else like to ask a question or speak tonight? You gotta get up, you already spoke. One bite of the apple. Oh, the diagonal, I said that. You asked, was it proposed, I said that. Yeah. Anybody else like to speak, we heard of, no, we're going to take motion to close. Motion to close.
All in favor? Aye. I'm going to just briefly piggyback on Wendy and thank the participatory budget. I was at the meeting, Yvonne was at the meeting. The projects were amazing. All of the projects were amazing, from kayak racks to art benches, playgrounds, and I think I hope I speak for everyone, and let's keep it classy and vote for the project that you are most passionate about. Thank you. Now on to the minutes. Municipal Council Executive Meeting minutes and recess of March 8th, 2023.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Sorry.
Take your conversations outside, please. Still have to finish the speakers. Please take your conversations outside. We have.
Guys, go outside, please. Thank you. There's still a meeting going on right now. Thank you, guys.
How long you been there? Oh, good for you. I knew you were learning there. Did I get it?
Take it outside because the voice is echo in the floor door. Just take it outside. Thank you, guys.
Did something bad or good?
Thanks.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Thanks, Mayor.
That's what I want to hear. Bye. Nice. Congrats. I will. I want my daughter. Oh, this is just a minute now.
Okay, guys. We voted it down. Shut up.
Okay, we're now on to the minutes, item municipal council executive meeting minutes and regular meeting minutes of March 8th. Do I have a motion? Second. Thank you. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're on to the consent agenda resolutions. All matters listed on consent agenda are presented to the council and will be considered.
Obviously, they're not triple pay winners.
These matters will be closed out. We will continue to nature, there will be no further discussion on these items. Discussion is desired by one council members as an individual item. Instead, items should be removed from the consent agenda and considered separate. On consent agenda tonight, we have resolutions 2023-166 through 2025-169. Do I have a motion? Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're now on to individual resolutions. I have resolution 2023-170, a resolution approving payment of bills.
Second.
Thank you. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
No.
Resolution 2023-171, resolution authorizing transfer of appropriation orders in the fiscal year 2022 budget.
Move it.
Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-172, resolution awarding bid for a one-man revenue use collections system vehicle.
Move it.
Second. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-173, resolution approving change order number 1 for Memorial Drive Improvements Project.
Move it.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-174, resolution identifying the many items as per the subsequent developer agreement between the City of Asbury Park, Max and Asbury Retail LLC, and Asbury Partners. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. No. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-175, resolution authorizing a professional services contract to CDM Smith for wastewater treatment plant assistance and various design improvements.
Second.
Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-176, a resolution referring the arts and culture plan to the planning board for review and adoption as an amendment to the Asbury Park master plan. Second. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-177, a resolution of the City of Asbury Park referring the proposed redevelopment plan for 1012 Asbury Avenue, City of Asbury Park, Mon County, Lot 501, lots 1 and 2, dated March 15, 2023, to the planning board in accordance with the local redevelopment housing law NJSA 48:12A-7. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Councilmember Clayton. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
We're now to ordinances for introduction. I have ordinance 2023-12, which is the 2022 transportation update.
Move it.
Second. Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
I have ordinance 2023-13, ordinance of the City of Asbury Park, amending and supplementing section 5-4 entitled Rules and Regulations of Chapter 5, beach boardwalk and beachfront regulations of the Code of the City of Asbury Park, with a public hearing date of April 12, 2023.
Move it.
Second. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
Ordinance 2023-14, ordinance of the City of Asbury Park, amending and supplementing subsection 4-27.4 entitled Application of Section 4-27, Building and Photography Permits of Chapter 4, General Licensing of the Code of the City of Asbury Park for the public hearing date of April 12, 2023. Councilmember Bez Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Chapman. Yes. Councilmember Clayton. Yes. Deputy Mayor Quinn. Yes. Mayor Moore.
Yes.
If no one has anything else, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Move to adjourn. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Thank you, everyone. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.